Hi there and welcome to The Perspective on Barita Satu. I'm Blaze Hope, and with me in the studio to mark World Food Day is the World Food Programme's representative in Indonesia, Anthea Webb. Anthea, thank you for joining us.
Most welcome, thank you.
Let's start with World Food Day. What exactly is it?
So World Food Day is the day when around the globe we pause for a moment to think about where our food is coming from and what impact it's having on our lives.
What does that mean where it's coming from? The countries, the companies, the processes that it's made?
More importantly, I would think about the people involved in its production. So who are the farmers who are out there toiling day in, day out, the fishermen and the people raising livestock who are bringing food to our tables, and what are the kind of influences that they have on their lives and on our tables at the end of the day and on our purses.
And how, speaking globally now, before we go into specifically much more about Indonesia, what are the big themes?
So globally, the big theme this year is on social protection. So how do we make sure that the poorest among us, the people who are most in need of attention, are also having their food and nutrition needs met? And there's some promising work going on on that front globally, but also here in Indonesia.
Now, are we separating farmers and the public here, or are they both under the same umbrella?
Well, I think farmers qualify as part of the public. They're a particularly important part from my point of view. And in fact, one thing that most people don't always think about is that most farmers also buy food. So they're also consumers of food as well as being producers of it. And in some cases, even they're not getting the right kinds of food or the right amounts to guarantee that they and their children are growing healthy and strong.
So it's a major focus, social protection of farmers?
Absolutely, absolutely. So making sure that everyone in a country, whichever income group they belong to, has the right kind of food at the right time so that they're able to contribute the most.
What have been the biggest achievements that'll be marked at this World Food Day?
Well, I think one of the big things is that we came so close to meeting the global goal of the Millennium Development Goal to halve hunger. The UN's MDGs. So we're almost there at halving the portion of the world's population that lives in hunger. Here in Indonesia we met it, but that means the job is only half done. And now the big challenge to us as we go towards 2030 is how can we make sure that no one on the planet is hungry, that everyone has food security, and that nutrition around the globe is improved.
And that's the next deadline for the development goals?
That's the next deadline, 15 years to come across this huge challenge. But from my point of view, of those 17 goals, the one on food security and ending hunger is the most achievable. And unless we achieve it, we're going to have trouble meeting all of the others.
So food security, is this a question largely of more efficient farming?
So food security is a big topic because it includes availability of food, making sure everyone has enough, access to it. It's not enough to produce enough food if not everyone is able to afford it, and how it's used, whether we're eating enough nutritious food to be healthy and strong and successful.
So when you say access to it, does physical security enter into what you do as well, trying to guarantee that?
Sure. Physical security, infrastructure, is the food able to move from where it's grown to where it's needed? And also social access to it, and that gets back to social protection as well. Are people able to afford it? Within a household, how is food divided? Do women eat last, as they often do in many places where we work? So that's a big focus for us.
And availability kind of then branches into that?
Availability is your building block, but it's not the only thing which affects whether or not a country is food secure.
So what does that cover?
Food security or availability?
Availability.
So availability is really about making sure that there is enough food available in a particular community or country to meet all of the needs of the people.
Are you working with trade groups to make that happen, or is that not really what you're talking about?
Well, the food program would usually focus mostly on those who are having the greatest trouble getting enough food. So trade works most of the time. But we're focusing on those people who are outside markets often, or for whom those markets aren't accessible because they can't afford food or they simply can't reach the market in the first place.
Okay, well, we've got to go to break now, but when we come back, we'll be talking much more about Indonesia with Anthea Webb. Stay tuned.